My name's Adam Manaka and I'm the Financial Controller for Hi-Tech Oils. With our national capacity, we can now service Australian companies nationwide. Of late, we have now expanded into the New Zealand market. Here at Hi-Tech Oils, we receive premium base oils and premium additive packs. Together, with our highly trained staff, we manufacture over 500 premium quality products. Hi-Tech Oils is Australian made and Australian owned.
Hello and welcome to Sydney Motorsport Park for this, the penultimate round of the Swann Super Series. I'm Lance Robertson, and as you can see, there are some dark, dirty clouds looming around this venue, which should make the racing both interesting and a challenge for our competitors, especially in the bikehaggle.com.au Superbike class. Let's have a look at the standings after our last event held at Queensland Raceway way back in July. Lucas Vitali arrives into this weekend's racing as the man to beat, leading his nearest rival Brad Swallow by just 20 points. But with potentially wet conditions greeting our riders, tyre choice, as well as race wins, will play a big outcome in the final championship results. Brendan McIntyre is third, with Simon Galloway and Dominic De Leon completing the top five. Well, there's been very light drizzle that's hung around the circuit all morning long, causing quite a few headaches for a number of riders as race one looms near. Thankfully, they don't have to go too far to get the right tyre required. Dunlop, the official control tyre of the Swann Super Series, is armed and ready for what lies ahead this weekend.
We're providing a tyre service for all the competitors here. The Dunlop tyre is a control tyre for the Australasian Superbike Championships, and we provide a tyre service for all the competitors racing in the control classes, and as well as supplying tyres to many other riders in the open tyre classes as well. We've got four of us there fitting tyres, and plus also Sebastian from Dunlop is overseeing the whole thing with technical support, etc. The Dunlop control tyre is a Dunlop KR133 rear tyre. We have it in slick, and it's used on the Superbike class, the Super Sport class, and also the Pro Twins naked bike class. And the Dunlop front tyre is a KR106, and once again it's used in those three classes. The wet weather tyre is called the Dunlop KR393. That's the rear tyre, and the front tyre is a KR191. It's a full wet tyre, has a lot of silica in the compound, and it has very generous siping to disperse the water. And so the wet tyre used in full wet conditions is a fantastic tyre. However, used in drying conditions, they don't last very long at all. Well, we've got a truck full of wet tyres there as well. So if it rains, which we hope it doesn't rain, we've got tyres to cater for wet conditions as well. But hopefully we don't have to sell too many.
Well, maybe our experts from Dunlop shouldn't have spoken too soon, because as you can see, the drizzle has become slightly heavier on the warm-up lap, and this means that a number of riders who have started this race on slicks could potentially have made the wrong choice. On the other hand though, Lucas Vitali has opted not to take any risks and has dived into the pits to fit wet weather tyres and will ultimately start the race from pit lane. Let's have a look at the grid for race one. It's Matthew Harding who will lead the field away from pole position ahead of Brad Swallow. Vitali qualified third, but as you just saw is changing his tyre and will start from pit lane. Row 2 consists of Brendan McIntyre, Simon Galloway and Dominic De Leon, whilst Damien Sutton, Russell Holland and Brett Kitchen occupy the third row. Row 4 has Tim Griffith, Luke Condren and Daniel Ayesh, with Hamish McMurray and Brendan Watson completing the field on row 5. In the starter's hands now, this is the opening race of round 5 of the Swann Super Series. The bikehaggle.com.au Superbikes, and Brad Swallow, front wheel in the air, gets a great start and takes the whole shot. Brendan McIntyre right behind him on the Suzuki.
Yeah, looks like Brendan is riding that brand new Suzuki. He's always, he said he was going to get it, but who's that up the inside there? Is it Dominic De Leon?
Matt Harding's up there, Dominic De Leon's up there. So too, I think you'll find is Simon Galloway. I think you'll find is up into third place at the moment.
Yeah, good start there by Simon, but he up the inside of Brad Swallow. He can't quite do it there, but.
Well, after getting the early hole shot, Brad Swallow's been swamped by the 96 of Matt Harding. You can see why he's done so well. Brett Kitchen there on the 55, getting up the inside of Tim Griffith on board the machine number 18. So as they head through bikebiz.com.au for the first time, it's Matthew Harding, Brad Swallow, Brendan McIntyre, Simon Galloway. Right behind them, I think you'll find, is Dominic De Leon, and there's still no sign, to the best of my recollection, of Lucas Vitali out there on the circuit at the moment.
Yes, very disappointing for Lucas and the Yat One Racing team. Let's see what happens with the championship points, because 20 points for second place, isn't it, Lance? So Brad Swallow would, if he stays in this position, would be eagle.
Brendan McIntyre on board machine number 6, the Western Motorcycle 7 Friday Suzuki GSXR, ahead of the Kawasaki, the At1 Pro Race Suits team principal, Dominic De Leon, lining him up, trying to get the slipstream down the end of the Swann Insurance main straight into Races World. He can't do it though. Brendan McIntyre getting used to that brand new Suzuki. He's opened up the opportunity for a late braking manoeuvre from Dominic De Leon. He takes that opportunity with both hands, hopefully on the handlebars.
Yes, a great ride there. Big manoeuvre into Races World, into coming through Sydney Motorsport Park ride days by Dominic De Leon, but looks like it's all Matt Harding at the moment out in front.
Yes, although you've got to say that his fellow Kawasaki Connection mounted ZX10R rider, as we take an opportunity to look at a replay here of Dominic De Leon, gets the best drive you could possibly get out of Races World, maximises that opportunity with a wider than normal berth by McIntyre, who repays the favour now up the inside of De Leon in bikebiz.com.au, maintains that gap around the back of Corporate Hill, and now firmly has Brad Swallow in his sight. What I was mentioning there earlier is Brad Swallow has come on very strongly in the last half a lap or so and made up a lot of ground. But in the meantime, whilst we were looking at that replay and looking at this battle for third and fourth place, Matt Harding has responded and opened up the gap a little bit further.
Yeah, third and fourth place are definitely closing down on Brad Swallow there. McIntyre's really enjoying this new Suzuki.
Just like the At1 Pro Race Suits team principal, Dominic De Leon, is enjoying probably one of his best years of motorcycle racing here in the domestic circuit of Australia, taking up the challenge of putting together a big team, and he's back there in fourth place at the moment. So it's Harding, Swallow, McIntyre, De Leon, Galloway and Griffith. Kitchen has just got the better of Griffith, with McMurray, Vitali and Sutton rounding up your top 10. Look at Kitchen trying very hard again now. He has Simon Galloway in his sights, and again that door gets opened up by a rider in turn number 2. The classic switch back there. Galloway gets back on him. Kitchen just goes a little bit too deep, a little bit too hard in turn 2, and Galloway maximises the opportunity now and opens up a bigger gap.
Yeah, a little bit wide there by Simon Galloway coming through turn 2 at coming through the Sydney Motorsport Park part of the circuit.
Yeah, look at this, a replay here of Brett Kitchen getting up the inside of Galloway a lap earlier than that. He goes a little bit too wide, does Kitchen. That opens up the opportunity for Galloway to power on out of the way. Swallow, number 56, unmistakable green livery of the Kawasaki. I think he's got green in his veins, is that young lad. The Kawasaki Connection ZX10R. He's in second place at the moment, but under an immense amount of pressure. The Suzuki wants to be the meat in the Kawasaki sandwich, there's no doubt about that. Brendan McIntyre hard on the heels now of
Brad Swallow, he goes a bit wide. McIntyre snaps to the inside. Kenny outbreaks Swallow. Swallow had the racing line. He's got to sit it upright. All three of them. Concertina down in turn number 2. And look at this battle for 4th and 5th placing between Brett Kitchen and Simon Galloway.
Yes, Swallow and McIntyre there, Lance, close right down onto Matt Harding down the Swann Insurance main straight for that time around. But here comes McIntyre up the inside. Can he do it? No, not quite.
3 wide on the entrance of Dunlop Sportsmax. Still 3 wide coming through here. And one would remember with no certain expectations what happened through that section of the circuit in round 2, I think it was, where the chain of Brad Swallows came off and almost brought undone Simon Galloway back there in round 2.
Yeah, Hiddy's actually flew off and hit his front fork there, but looks like there Matt Harding may have a bit of an issue because the last couple of corners there, Lance, he has definitely dropped off the pace.
He certainly has. He's now back to 3rd place. That means a battle for the front 2 runners is between the Kawasaki Connection mounted ZX10R of Brad Swallow and the Western Motorcycles 7 Friday Suzuki GSXR of Brendan McIntyre. McIntyre has anxiously awaited the arrival of this brand new Suzuki as he heads out of turns 11 and 12. Matrice Dampers for the run down the Swann Insurance main straight. Little less than abreast between the 3 of them. Who will it be? McIntyre tries to get the slipstream on Swallow. Can't do it. Will Swallow cover his tracks through turn 1 of the Racers World? Exits a little bit wider. There goes McIntyre up the inside. Suzuki taking up the running at the moment. Can he maintain the racing line? Can he keep Swallow to the outside? He can't. Outside, inside, inside, outside. Rubbing leathers, swapping brands as they head out of turn 2 into turn 3 for the runaround bikehaggle.com.au drop off. McIntyre trying very hard indeed, but Swallow had an answer to every one of his challenges.
Was it a youthful experience there for Brad Swallow there, Lance? But here we go. Big move. You can't even see the Brendan McIntyre coming into a turn 1 Racers World, but a little bit wide there, which allowed Brad Swallow to come back up the inside.
Yeah, I think you'll find that the precipitation that's on the circuit at the moment, Tim, was the cause of McIntyre not being able to maintain his racing line. He was just lucky to be able to lean on Brad Swallow enough to be able to keep the bike upright. McIntyre tries for the inside, discretion being the better part of valour, as you'll find that Brad Swallow had to close the door. He's got some problems with that bike by the looks of it. Maybe a false neutral, a false gear. McIntyre now assumes the race lead.
Yeah, definitely a problem there for Brad Swallow. We can't tell what's happened, but he's put his hand up in the air, so it's an issue with the bike there for Brad Swallow.
I don't know whether it's an issue with the bike or whether he's complaining about the conditions deteriorating enough to want to cause the race to be stopped. But in the meantime, there is no red flag, and Brendan McIntyre is continuing on his winning way. Brad Swallow is complaining about something there. There's no uncertainty about that. In the meantime, that's handed over 2nd place to Matt Harding.
Yeah, maybe they started with the slicks there at Lance, and the weather's got a little bit treacherous for those tyres.
It'll be very interesting to see that if Brad Swallow does make it to the podium, what Andrew has to say to him about that, considering the fact that he's backed off. It is lap 6 of 8 that they're on, so they're only at 3/4 race distance at the moment. But it is the number 6 of Brendan McIntyre that leads the field down through the end of Ipone Oils, back straight into Matrice Dampers. He will be commencing his penultimate lap when he goes over the strike line 3/4 of the way down the Swann Insurance main straight. He's done a great job as McIntyre. He has not backed off like any of the others. Matt Harding initially was the one that backed off, I think, given the adverse conditions, was not too comfortable about it. And maybe it is all of that experience coming to the fore. Brad Swallow gets the upper hand now as he goes past our position and takes up the running of 2nd placing ahead of Matt Harding. Dominic De Leon still comfortably back there in 4th place, and Lucas Vitali has made his way up into 5th.
The biggest issue right at this moment, however, is Brad Swallow. Here's a replay on board his Kawasaki, and you can see how quickly he backed off through turn 1. If you look really closely at the windscreen of his bike, you can visibly see plenty of raindrops, which can only mean he did it purely in the interest of safety.
We have Brad Swallow on the Kawasaki Motorcycles Australia Kawasaki Connection ZX10R in 2nd place. Matt Harding still looking forlorn at the conditions or the officials or both as he heads down Ione Oils back straight and into the final 2 turns of the circuit. Matrice Dampers.
Yeah, lucky to stay on the circuit there, Lance. If you look at Matt Harding, he's out of the seats and...
that's why. Well picked up by our cameraman there. I didn't see that. You saw that. Well done. Up over bikehaggle.com.au, drop over and down into the Dunlop Sportsmax turns 4 and 5 is our race leader. On board the Suzuki GSXR of Brendan McIntyre. Rick Pobjoy racing, of course, in the background, always on the phone to Rick Pobjoy is Brendan McIntyre, making sure that he gets that set up as the best possible combination that he possibly can. In the meantime, on screen at the moment is the Brad Swallow entry, trying very hard to chase him down in the latter stages. It'll be very interesting to see what Brad's got to say at the end of this one as he heads out of turn 9, Freightlix Transport for the run down the Ione Oils back straight into Matrice Dampers for the final time. And I think he's trying very hard. He's not comfortable on board that Kawasaki Connections bike.
Oh, he's lost it.
I've put the Murray Walker mocker on him, but he's done a great job there, almost dirt track style, to be able to keep the clutch in and the motor going. Will he be able to get it back up and take second place in the meantime? It is all about Brendan McIntyre. A great effort there from Brad Swallow. Very reminiscent of dirt track style, where he managed to keep that clutch in on the bike. You could see him concentrating very hard, and irrespective of the fact that he's fallen off, he'll still finish in second place, and Matt Harding should take third. Well, here we have a replay of the Swallow off as he goes through Matrice Dampers, gets the gas on a little bit too hard, and the back end goes out. You can see that he made sure that his legs were upright out of the road, making sure that he continued to keep that clutch in. Look at the concentration, the effort of that left hand to keep that clutch in and the engine running on board that Kawasaki Connection ZX10R. A great effort, even though he made an error and basically just stuffed up. He still managed to finish in second.
So Brendan McIntyre finally breaks through for his maiden win in the bikehaggle.com.au Superbikes, ahead of Brad Swallow and Matt Harding. Dominic De Leon finishes in 4th, ahead of his teammate Lucas Vitali, who recovered to finish a fine 5th. Brett Kitchen, Simon Galloway, Tim Griffith and Hamish McMurray complete the field, with Damien Sutton failing to finish.
Yeah, thanks very much. That's been a long time coming. I would like to do it in the dry on like a proper battle, but that said, the conditions were the same for everybody and came out first, so it's good enough for me. I'll take it.
The bike was running awesome. Had a bit of a code that it threw it there towards mid-race there, so I lost all, like it cut out for me, and then I lost all traction control and everything like that. So in the end, I ended up just riding without it. And you know, Brandon's obviously, he's got a bit of practice up, but had a bit of a low side in the last turn there coming onto the straight. So, but lucky enough, was able to pick it up quick enough and get it down the straight in second.
Very mixed conditions out there. Didn't know what was going to happen lap to lap. Low adhesion flags were getting thrown out, and the rain on the visors. So I was quite happy when they come past me, and to see the pace they were running, I thought I'm just going to try and stay on my bike and see what happens.
Well, the weather has certainly added extra drama to this bikehaggle.com.au Superbike Championship fight, and it's set to continue after this break with race 2, along with the stars of tomorrow. Thanks for joining us here at Sydney Motorsport Park as we welcome you back to our Round 5 coverage of the Swann Super Series. Conditions have remained the same since our first race earlier today, and whilst the forecast for the rest of the day will see the showers ease off, it's certainly playing havoc for our riders in the bikehaggle.com.au Superbikes, who are on the track now in readiness for race 2. Speaking of which, bikehaggle.com.au is the brand new place to buy and sell a motorcycle, and they're currently offering 75% off their paid ads for bikes and parts for a limited time. Let's now have a look at the grid for race 2, and it'll be Brendan McIntyre that will start this race from pole, ahead of Brad Swallow and Matthew Harding. Row 2 will be occupied by the At1 Pro Race Suits teammates of Dominic De Leon and Lucas Vitali, with Brett Kitchen alongside of them. Simon Galloway, Tim Griffith and Hamish McMurray fill out the third row, with Damien Sutton, Russell Holland and Luke Condren on row 4. Daniel Ayesh and Brendan Watson complete the field on the fifth and final row.
So will Brendan McIntyre be able to repeat the performance on board the Western Motorcycles 7 Friday Rick Pobjoy Suzuki GSXR? What a lightning start there. Was that Lucas Vitale? No, I think it actually might have been Dominic De Leon.
Dominic De Leon, a great start there by Dominic going into Racers World Turn 1 for the first time there, but looks like is that Simon Galloway now has moved up into the front.
Yeah, Galloway it is that leads from McIntyre. There goes Swallow around the outside, followed by the At1 Racing Dominic De Leon. Cheekily looks over his right shoulder and sees the series leader at the moment make his way through. Of course, that's his teammate, Lucas Vitale, up into 4th place.
Here comes McIntyre. It was a blinding start by Simon Galloway. McIntyre up the inside.
Oh, look at that round the outside. Brad Swallow getting that Kawasaki Connection ZX10R, all squirrely under power. And here comes Lucas Vitale up into 3rd place.
Simon Galloway's lost 2 positions there in one corner there, Lance. It's a great start, but looks like he's lost a bit of pace.
Yeah, the Chris Watson Motorcycles Yamaha pales into insignificance. There goes Swallow round the outside. Vitale up the inside. McIntyre relegated back to 3rd.
Shopping and changing already. Look at that. Who's that in the?
Is it Tim Griffin?
Tim Griffith on the on his bike there, going up the inside of Simon Galloway. So Simon's definitely lost a bit of pace.
He certainly has, as they head out onto the Swann Insurance main straight for the first of 8 laps. Completing lap 1, 7 more to go. And Lucas Vitale it is that will be registered as our race leader. The Western Motorcycles 7 Friday, Rick Pobjoy, Suzuki GSXR of Brendan McIntyre in 2nd. The Kawasaki Connections Kawasaki ZX10R in 3rd place of Brad Swallow. Here comes Dominic De Leon trying to get up the inside of the Chris Watson Motorcycles Yamaha mounted Simon Galloway. In the meantime, though, Lucas Vitale, he's on a hard charge. Dominic De Leon, the At1 Pro Race Suits, Kawasaki ZX10R, chasing hard at the back of Simon Galloway, who still has 4th position consolidated at the moment.
Yeah, looks like Vitale, there's got a great first sector time, a 30.8 compared to a 31.4 for McIntyre and a 31.7 for Swallow. So it's he's definitely on fire at the moment.
Not 100% sure of the final points at the moment at this stage of the race meeting, but with Brad Swallow finishing in 2nd in race 1 and Lucas Vitale in P5, there will be a points gain for Brad Swallow. There was 20 points difference between the two of them coming into this 5th round.
Well, the opening lap of race 2 was certainly frenetic. Let's have a quick look back at how it transpired. The first key move was done by Brendan McIntyre through Dunlop Sportsmax when he found a gap to slip past Simon Galloway and take the lead. Then at Freightlink's Transport Turn 9, Brad Swallow swooped around the outside of McIntyre and Vitale to take the lead momentarily before Vitale carried good momentum exiting the corner to shoot past Swallow's Kawasaki and take the lead down the Iphone Oils back straight.
Lucas Vitale, looks like Lucas has had a bit of an issue as well, because Brendan McIntyre is right on his tail now.
Well, what was a 20-point lead coming into this round after race number 1 earlier, Tim, I think you'll find is 17 points now. A 3 points difference gained by Brad Swallow, so he needs to try and chase down as hard as he possibly can Lucas Vitale, who's under all sorts of pressure at the moment from Brendan McIntyre.
Yeah, closed right down now, hasn't he? It's really enjoying that brand new Suzuki.
Certainly is. He snaps to the inside, gets a run down Iphone Oils back straight. Up the inside of Vitale goes the number 6 of Brendan McIntyre. Gets that Western Motorcycles 7 Friday Rick Pobjoy Suzuki into the lead of the race again. Out of the final turn, Matrice Dampers, and for the run down the Swann Insurance main straight.
Yes, it's very fast, that Suzuki, isn't it? As you saw down that at the back straight there, the iPone Oil's back straight. Look at Vitale though, closing right down as they come through Races World Turn 1.
He tried to go around the outside, then discretion being the better part of Valor tried the inside, but Brendan McIntyre had a very crafty race line through there and balked Vitale, and that still allowed Brendan McIntyre to maintain the race lead at the moment. Here's a repeat or a replay of McIntyre's run up the inside of Vitale down the end of iPone Oils and up into Matrice Dampers on that last lap. A calculated manoeuvre, you've got to suggest. Well, he made mention at the last 2 rounds at Queensland Raceway over the weekend of July 15 and 16, how important the extra horsepower on the run or the mumbo jumbo down the main straight would be on this new model Suzuki, and it's certainly proving to be an accurate assessment.
Yes, it's usually been the Kawasaki that's had the pace for top speed wise, but look at the battle as they come. Look at Vitale. Speaking of the Kawasaki pace, there he goes, Vitale around the outside of McIntyre.
Yeah, that was simply a legacy of getting a good run out of Matrice Dampers and slipstreaming down the Swann Insurance main straight. We're only on lap 5, Tim, of 8. Vitale leading McIntyre, Swallow in 3rd, Griffith 4th, and Simon Galloway in 5th. But one gets the impression that we may have a number of different changes of the lead yet to come.
Yeah, Brett Swallow's dropped right off the pace at 9 seconds behind now.
Brett Kitchen and Hamish McMurray having a battle royale for 7th and 8th placing at the moment. Kitchen on the BMW got the upper hand there of the 33 of McMurray on his Kawasaki. They're heading out of Sydney Motorsport Park Ride Days Turn 2, negotiating 3 and getting ready for the run up over the top of bikehaggle.com.au. As we can see a replay now of what's happened while we were watching that, a pass for first place up over the top of bikehaggle.com.au, drop over, and McIntyre and his Suzuki got the better run and the better line down into Dunlop. Lucas Vitale doesn't really need to be that worried about getting a race win here, Tim. All he needs to do is just rack up the points over the weekend and he'll have the championship well and truly in the bag.
Yeah, that's correct there. It looks like Brad Swallow's lost 5 seconds in one lap there, so don't know what's happening there, but he's not keeping up the momentum of the front runners.
Well, if Brad Swallow's lost 5 seconds, I reckon he's going to have to visit the dry cleaners, because that's the sort of moment it'll be. But in the meantime, a good run there. Another classic example of slipstreaming of the Kawasaki on the Suzuki. And again, anything you can do, I can do better, says Brendan McIntyre as he slots that Western Motorcycles 7 Friday Rick Pobjoy Suzuki up the inside of the At1 Pro Race Suits Kawasaki of Lucas Vitale and takes up the running again, and quite simply pulls 3 or 4 bike lengths advantage over the Kawasaki, and that's what he's going to need, Tim, going into the final couple of turns of the final lap if he's to win this one again.
Yeah, the chopping and changing, anything can happen, and as we've seen in the last couple of laps, heaps of overtaking manoeuvres.
So our race leaders making their way around the back of the circuit through bikebiz.com.au, run around Corporate Hill to the downhill section that leads into turn 9. Here comes Vitale trying to get up the inside in that Freightlix Transport turn 9. Can't do it on McIntyre. McIntyre gets the position, but out of that turn, and for the run down iPone Oils, back straight Vitale, very hard on that Kawasaki, getting it to work and maximum traction on the exit of that corner.
Yeah, still anything can happen there, Lance, with that, what's that, half a lap to go? Or 1 lap to go, sorry.
Down the Swann Insurance main straight. This is where McIntyre has been vulnerable in the past. Very cleverly covers his line. What will Vitale do here? On the exit of Races World, went to the outside, then to the inside. McIntyre covers his lines very well indeed. Down into Sydney Motorsport Park Ride Days turn 2, gets good drive, opens up another 1 or 2 bike lengths lead. Through turn 3, up over the top of bikehaggle.com.au for the final time. It looks like it's all McIntyre's to lose from here, Tim.
Yeah, just got the fastest lap of the race too, a 1:38.0, so it definitely upped the pace in the final sections of this race.
Out of turn 5, Dunlop Sportsmax up over the top of bikebiz.com.au into turn 6. The run around the back of Corporate Hill leading into the bikebiz.com.au downhill section towards Freightlink's Transport turn 9. McIntyre doing a great job, Tim.
Looks like he's got in the bag now. It's the final lap of the race, but gee, as you said earlier, the Lance, a great debut for the new Suzuki.
Down Ipearn Oil's back straight into the final couple of turns. Matrice Dampers. Brendan McIntyre looks like getting 2 from 2 in the bikehaggle.com.au Superbike class this weekend in round 5 of the Swann Super Series. He pilots his Western Motorcycles Rick Pobjoy 7 Friday Suzuki across the line, rather comprehensively victorious ahead of Lucas Vitali in the end on his At1 Pro Race Suits Kawasaki. The battle for the minor placing is going to go right down to the wire though. Brad Swallow and Griffith. Griffith on the outside, Swallow up the inside, the Kawasaki Connection ZX10R tries very hard, gets squirrely under power. It's going to be horsepower. Will the slipstream effect of the Kawasaki of Brad Swallow come to the fore? I don't think it's going to be. At the moment it looks like it's going to be Griffith. And yes, Tim Griffith gets 3rd place ahead of Brad Swallow. What a great effort. Simon Galloway, Dominic DeLeon, Hamish McMurray, Brett Kitchen and Damien Sutton, your 9th and final finisher.
Yeah, that one was no less sketchy. Actually, it was probably a bit worse than the first one. I think we went a little bit faster, only because I had someone there. At the moment, how it is out there, you're riding it as you see it in real time, and it's changing lap to lap. So you just got to make the best of it as you go around.
Yeah, I thought the boys were all out on wet, so I was just coasting there for a while, and Brendan came up from behind and sort of surprised me, and I noticed he was on slick, so I thought it's all on here, but I could chase him around all right, but I knew he wasn't going to go away, and I wasn't willing to throw it down the road for 5 points, so yeah, I'm really happy with that.
Well, yeah, I can't believe that's just happened, so maybe Brad had a problem or something, but noticed I was catching him in the last few laps, and we're all on wets except for the 2 boys out the front, and chewed them up, but managed to hang on to 3rd, which is nice.
So Brendan McIntyre makes it back-to-back race wins in this 5th round. Can he make a clean sweep in the final race coming up? We'll find out in a little while, but right now it's time for the Stars of Tomorrow standalone race, which is open to all C and D grade riders across all of our classes in the Swann Super Series. In amongst the huge field of riders that will potentially take part are Tim Griffith and Hamish McMurray, who featured prominently at our last event at Queensland Raceway back in July.
I'm doing pretty well. We had some good battles earlier in the year and in Queensland, and I think hopefully we go well this weekend as well. It doesn't look that flash today though. We just have to play it by ear. I mean, we can sort of wear a bit of the wet hurt if it rains, but not too much. You've got to make that funny decision in between the races and pump some new tyres in there and hopefully get a good result. That's all we can do.
Queensland went really well. I just got to catch Tim. I'm going to try and get a really good start, and I'm going to try and attack him off the start and stay with him. He's got really good pace. Maybe the weather conditions will play into our favour. We'll see how it goes. I've got a lot of really good help. My girlfriend, Miss Crystal Rose, who's my crew chief, mechanic, grid girl, everything is here for me. That always puts me in a good state to compete.
It's good to see a whole bunch of new guys. Some are older. I turned 40 last year and just started racing, so it's good for us. And had some, especially at the start of the year, we had some good battles with Con and a few other boys, and hopefully they turn up today, but also hopefully they don't.
Here's how the competitors will line up for racing in the Stars of Tomorrow event. The front row consists of Tim Griffith, Luke Condren and Grant Davis, with Justin Case, Greg Nagy and Brian Bolster filling out row 2. Row 3 has Hamish McMurray, Adrian Pellegrin and Shane Ryan, with row 4 occupied by Keith Mulcahy, Luke Rhodes and Mark Nassif. Row 5 consists of Emmanuel Nataris, Nathan Brumby and Ben O'Connor, and the 6th and final row has Mary Molina, Will Stewart and Kevin Peacock sharing duties.
Green flag at the back It's out of the road as well. We'll be underway shortly. Yes, you're right, Tim. There's a lot of gaps there. A pretty even start from the front area of the circuit, if you like, but it looks like the 33 of Hamish McMurray. He gets the best of the start, swoops around the outside. Did he get the whole shot? He did momentarily, but he's now under challenge and dropped back to third place. Oh, look at that rider, straight on, hard as you like, and very well controlled under brakes through turn number 2. One rider going extremely wide, using up all of the black stuff and the concrete on the outside.
Yes, a very good start by one of the riders there as they come through bikeeagle.com.au.
And down into Dunlop Sports Max, the right-left combination. Hamish McMurray back there in third place. Fourth place is being held down by the number 97 machine, who started way back through the pack there, I'm pretty sure you'll find. Waiting for them all to sort themselves out as they head out of bikebiz.com.au. Another rider going a little bit wide. Just trying to pick up who that is that's actually leading the race. Is it Tim Griffith?
I think it's Tim on his the black-livered Kawasaki.
I think you'll find it is the number 18 of Tim Griffith, doing a great job on board the Coolman Logistics Kawasaki ZX-10R. There's Hamish McMurray on board machine number 33. The Barmco, Manna McMurray, Miss Rose Redback Ram, Kawasaki ZX-10R, the C grader from the ACT.
Number 14 there, Lance. He's not even on the front page of the screen. That's is that Brumby?
Yeah, Nathan Brumby on the Singleton motorcycles. The Dodgy Butcher. Why would you go to the Dodgy Butcher? On his 600 GSXR.
Well, it's even better than that little 600.
Nothing dodgy about those bikes, is there? Look at this, 3 and 4 wide through Races World turn number 1. 5 riders battling it out for the 1 position. Isn't this great racing?
Yeah, excellent racing. Yeah, another one of the little 600s in there as well. And the Kawasaki there.
I think it was Kavanagh that was on board 97 that was going right round the outside of the entire field.
And Tim Griffith has rocketed away out front, but it wasn't smooth sailing at the start. He bogged down off the line, but as we can see on the replay, he regained some momentum to rip past Nathan Brumby around the outside as they approach Sydney Motorsport Park Ride Days Turn 2.
Grosany there on 25 went well and then got balked, went a little bit wide. Next thing you know, he's swamped and he's 4 places worse off. Everybody wriggling under power. This battle is for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12.
You can't get much closer than that.
Here we have the front 3 in that pack. The 97 of Kavanagh. Oh, he was in front. Now look at him. He's relegated 1 place back. If not, he's unlucky. He'll end up being 2 places back. I think you'll find it was Rhodes that got the better of him. No, it was Hend, I beg your pardon. Hend on the 61. Smith there on board 35.
On the 675 Triumph.
Appleby still just a little bit further back. He's also in with a chance. Lap 4 of 6. Remembering, folks, these are C and D graders. They are the stars of tomorrow. It is their standalone one-off opportunity to showcase their talents to the rest of the pits and indeed the rest of the world. It's over 6 laps. They're on lap 4 of 6 right now.
Tim Griffith, fastest lap of the race at 39.1.
Keith Mahalhi on the B&H Motorcycles Kawasaki ZX 6R has made his way into the pits with mechanical dramas by the looks of it. Here we have a replay of some of the battles here. I think you'll find coming up the inside of the 97 of Kavanagh is Smith. Does a great job to get the better of him, but goes a little bit wide. Still manages to maintain the racing line that he needs. Oh, bad luck there. I think you'll find that is Brumby, who was in 3rd place.
Yeah, it looks like about turn 5 area there. It's coming into bikebiz.com.au.
In the meantime, it's all about this man, Tim Griffith, on board machine number 18. The final lap for him.
Good ride there, isn't it, by Tim Griffith? He's dominated this race.
He has. And he hasn't panicked either, has he? He's just continued on his winning way. He had a 13-second lead over Hamish McMurray in second place. On board his Barmco man McMurray, Miss Rose Redback Ram Racing Kawasaki ZX-10R.
38.8 now for Tim Griffiths. So he's getting faster and faster.
Well, a great effort from all riders on board their machines in the stars of tomorrow. Tim Griffith victorious ahead of Hamish McMurray and Luke Rhodes in that order. Aaron Smith, Matthew Franco, Adam Hend in Ps 4, 5 and 6 respectively. Lee Appleby, Stephen Rosany, Noel Mahone and Josh Kavanagh round up the top 10.
It's been a bit of a funny day today, actually. But, I mean, it's all made better. I mean, I've got the support of BC Performance here and Kelvin and the team and Coolman Logistics. And my girlfriend's here helping with the crew chief duty, so that makes things easier when you're trying to chop and change between tyres and races and things. So.
Well, the weather has certainly played havoc in this 5th round of the Swann Super Series, and it's potentially set to continue on the other side of this break. Join us then as we get ourselves ready for race 3 of the bikehaggle.com.au Superbikes. Welcome back to our coverage of the Swann Super Series, coming to you from Sydney Motorsport Park. The first 2 races in the bikehaggle.com.au Superbikes were conducted in damp and tricky conditions, and although the weather remains on the murky side, it's cleared up enough for this 3rd and final race of round 5 to be completely dry. This will no doubt bring the level of competition up a few notches, especially for our championship contenders. So let's have a look at the grid in readiness for race 3. Brendan McIntyre will again lead the field away on the front row, courtesy of his 2 race victories already, with Lucas Vitale and Tim Griffith alongside. Row 2 is Brad Swallow, Simon Galloway and Dominic De Leon. The next row has 2 Kawasaki's lining up with a BMW in between. It features Hamish McMurray, Brett Kitchen and Damien Sutton, whilst Matthew Harding heads up the 4th row with Russell Holland and Luke Condren alongside. Daniel Ayesh and Brendan Watson complete the field on the 5th and final row.
In the starters' hands, all set for 8 laps in this, the 3rd and final race today of the bikehaggle.com.au Superbike. Officials have removed themselves from the starting grid. Away they go. Look like they're momentarily the 46 of Simon Galloway not getting away all that well. Our race leader at the moment, though, seems to be the number 6, the man that's won both of them so far, and that is Brendan McIntyre, but not for long. Round the outside looks like Brad Swallow. Who's that trying to get around the outside there? Goodness gracious me. Is that Matt Harding?
Matt Harding, I think
it is too.
Number 96 there. And you mentioned that 2 members of the @1 racing team. There's actually 3 because Damien Sutton's in there as well.
Oh yeah, forgot about Damien Sutton. Well said, yeah, well spotted. Yep, excellent. Up into second place now, McIntyre has been relegated from race lead with Brad Swallow out in front. I know McIntyre would like to finish with 3 from 3, but certainly not going to risk it considering there's still a final round to contest tomorrow. And Brad Swallow's the one that's got everything to lose because he needs to try and gain as many points ahead of Lucas Vitale back in 4th place at the moment. So it's Swallow, McIntyre, Harding, Vitale. Then we've got Simon Galloway behind him on the Chris Watson motorcycles. Yamaha R1. Out of the final turn, Matrice Dampers for the run down the Swann Insurance Main Straight. The records will show Brad Swallow will lead the field across the strike for the first of 8 times. Look at that, Matt Harding round the outside of one, up the inside of another. He relegates McIntyre's Western Motorcycles 7 Friday Rick Pobjoy Suzuki back to 3rd place now.
Yeah, showed some great speed, didn't it? Then coming down the Swann Insurance Main Straight, we saw that how good McIntyre Suzuki fast it was. A bit of issue there. It looks like that was Brett Kitchen. Yeah, so he's hasn't even finished the lap.
He was under a bit of pressure there from Damien Sutton, succumbed to it. Don't know whether that was mechanical or otherwise. We'll find out shortly, I'm sure, as Brad Swallow heads out of Dunlop Sportsmax turn 5. The run up into bikebiz.com.au turn 6. Vitale up the inside of McIntyre. McIntyre's going backwards, not forwards. Maybe it is an issue of tyres, considering, again, they're on a control tyre and only have so many that they can use over the weekend.
Yeah, good battle here for the lead with the two Kawasaki's. We've got Harding and Swallow. Harding, the more experienced rider. That was Russell Holland pulling into the pits just then, so it's on the 555 machine.
Out of turn number 11 and 12 for the run down the Swann Insurance Main Straight for the completion of lap number 2. Matthew Harding on the outside, the lighter green colour. Not as fluorescent as our race leader, Brad Swallow. Both of them on Kawasaki Connection mounted ZX10Rs. Lucas Vitale, another one of the Kawasaki's, trying very hard to get up there as close as he can, the At1 race suits.
Yeah, so 3 Kawasaki's leading the field at the moment. Looks like McIntyre's lost a bit of ground, to be honest.
He's going backwards there, and pretty soon he'll fall into the clutches of Simon Galloway. Harding up the inside now of Sean Brad Swallow. I'll get it right in a minute. Brad Swallow comes back with a vengeance, almost opens up the door there, does Harding, for an opportunity for Lucas Vitale to get up the inside of him.
Yeah, so Swallow's back in the lead after that overtaken the mover by Matt Harding.
Harding's not given up though, has he? Tries around the outside.
Yes, and Vitale's still there as well, so here's an overtaking manoeuvre replay there, so a big move there. Looks like had a bit of a bobble going into that turn, did Matt Harding, which lost a bit of ground.
Look at this, up the inside now of Harding comes Lucas Vitale. Vitale, our Championship Series winner, or leader I should say, almost got the better of Harding there, but Harding, tenacious, kept his line, didn't want to relinquish that position. Even though he's on a Kawasaki, he doesn't care. He's green, he's red.
Yes, he's having all these riders are riding fantastic at the moment. Brad Swallow's going very well out in front. But McIntyre, race 1 and 2 winner, is definitely lost a bit of ground onto the front 3.
Yeah, front 3 runners, all Kawasaki mounted, as you mentioned. Kawasaki Australia, Kawasaki Connection. ZX10R mounted, second place runner at the moment. Race leader at the moment is Brad Swallow. Right behind him is the K&R Hydraulics Kawasaki Connection. Oh, Vitale's down. This could have great ramifications for the championship. He knows that. Through turn 9, just lost the front end. The At1 Pro Race Suits Kawasaki. Number 88, Lucas Vitale, your championship leader. He must get up and score points in this one, surely, Tim. Otherwise, Brad Swallow will be laughing all the way to the points bank going into the final round tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a very sudden sort of accident, wasn't it, losing the front end there, but McIntyre now moves into 3rd spot. Simon Galloway still hasn't lost any ground on the front 4, so he's going up pretty well.
Yeah, At1 Pro Race Suits Core Products Kawasaki looks like he's not going to score any points out of this if he can't get it going. He's trying hard. He's on the outside of turn 9, Freight Lens Transport. Let's have another look at what happened. He came around very strong, a little bit wriggly, and just got it all wrong. Lost the front end right there. Unfortunately, trying to tip it in a little bit too hard. And certainly, other than the fact that he had a hot bum, I'm sure, from rubbing on the leathers on the tar, he got up and ran over to the bike to try and get it started as quickly as he possibly could. Up over the top of bikehaggle.com.au, lap 6 of 8. Swallow leading Harding. Not for long though. Harding tries the inside. Can't do it. He's strong there, Tim. He tries it every time. He just needs to open that throttle a little bit longer, and he may well balk Brad Swallow into a mistake.
Yeah, I think it's the line he's taking into that turn is not allowing him to turn the machine in there, but Brad Swallow's actually gained a bike length or 2 just from that little mistake.
Round Corporate Hill, down into Freight Links Transport. Harding in pursuit of Swallow. McIntyre not able to do anything about the front two runners. Needs to be careful about the Chris Watson motorcycle, Yamaha mounted Simon Galloway. In this, the third and final race on today's program, the bikehaggle.com.au Superbikes, the premier class of the Swann Super Series of 2017 and the Australasian Superbike Championship.
Here he looks to be in fair control. It's look at Matt Harding in the front wheel in the air. That's going to slow him down, but look at Galloway now right onto the case of Brendan McIntyre.
McIntyre, I think, is trying to survive on probably inferior tyres. As you mentioned earlier, I think you'll find that maybe he's done a little bit too much in races 1 and 2. He's got a couple more laps to be able to hold off the challenge of Simon Galloway. It will be a great credit to the Suzuki mounted rider to be able to finish on the podium again, albeit in third place, not victorious. Not able to do that this time around. But I know Simon Galloway won't want that to happen.
Yeah, maybe that the bike is still so new. It's trying to get the suspension working correctly. May have burnt the tyres up a little bit, but it's a great battle out front still with Brad Swallow, the final lap. Can he hold on to finish the race? Fastest lap of the race to Matt Harding, a 33.7, so that track conditions are definitely improved.
But that was way back on lap number 2. We've had 5 laps since then, and he's not been able to do anything about it. One would sense, though, Tim, that if he was in front of Swallow, he may well be able to break that. Up the inside he goes down into Dunlop Sports Max, leaving his best manoeuvre till last. He's always been strong through here. Brad Swallow tries the outside, does the switch back to the inside. Does he get the run up into bikebiz.com.au? The answer to that is no. He needs to make sure he's got a good run around Corporate Hill and around the outside of bikebiz.com.au downhill section. Through that area they go right now. Will he get the superior drive down into turn 9? Freightlinks Transport, he can't do it.
Yeah, very defensive line there taken by Matt Harding.
Matt Harding and Brendan McIntyre, both doing the same thing for the same reasons. Here comes our race leader though, Matt Harding, through the final 2 turns. Brad Swallow gets a good drive out of here, remembering what happened last time in race number 2. He fell off in the last lap through there. Not doing the same thing here. Can he get the slipstream? Will he pull out in time? Will he get the victory, or will it be Harding? Harding holds on. Matt Harding by 0.123 seconds ahead of Brad Swallow. Simon Galloway pips McIntyre on the line as well, relegating him off the podium and into 4th place. Well, let's have a look at the results of the bikehaggle.com.au Superbikes race number 3. Victorious Matt Harding ahead of Brad Swallow. Simon Galloway, Brendan McIntyre and Dominic De Leon. Damien Sutton ahead of Tim Griffith, Ayash Watson, McMurray Kitchen. Non-finishers were Condren Vitali and Holland, who was a non-starter.
Quite happy with that. That's the first one where it was fairly dry for the whole race. So I'd say everyone would agree with me that it was a nice change. Must have passed Brad on the last lap, and I was only looking at the track in front of me, and I wasn't sure what was happening, but I looked behind and Brad was there, so I kept going.
Matt rode a real smart race, followed me most of the way, and then made the move on the last lap and held his line. So good riding to Matt and all the rest of the boys as well.
Been a difficult day, like with one bike, and sort of just got to make a decision before the race on tyres, and both times I went wet tyres and it was completely dry, so I got hammered. So it was nice to actually have a dry race in the last one and a bit of battle with the boys. It was good fun.
So Brendan McIntyre and Matthew Harding share the spoils after today's racing. But in terms of the championship, we have a new leader in Brad Swallow. He has turned a 20-point deficit into a 2-point lead over Lucas Vitale, and it's also proven to be a benefit for Brendan McIntyre, whose 2 wins brings him within 19 points of the lead. With double points on offer for the final round, it's all up for grabs. This brings our coverage of the bikehaggle.com.au Superbikes to a close, but we're not done just yet here at Sydney Motorsport Park. There's plenty more racing to come from this 5th round of the Swann Super Series, including the Matrice Dampers Supersports and Sport 600s. We hope you can join us again soon.